So in between the men's and the women's restroom, there is a family restroom, and this door always remains locked. The hardware is set up so that the handle cannot be unlocked from the outside. So the key to get into this space is RS2. So that will open up into the family restroom. And so if you can instruct patrons to leave the door open after they're done using it, that would be great. Here's a Coke machine in the entryway. I only show this because it often malfunctions. And if it does, this is some information for how to help. If that happens, contact Coca-Cola, let them know that the machine is malfunctioning. Usually, if a bottle is tipped on its side like that, that means the machine is somehow malfunctioning. This silver door to the left is called an airlock door, and that is how, maybe if you have a wheelchair or something, that's how you would get into the dome. It's a set of double doors, and when you go through these doors, it's important not to have both doors open at the same time, because a tremendous rush of wind will come out through those doors if they're both open at the same time. Some rules for the dome: no food, no sunflower seeds, no tobacco products, no chewing gum. It's not like grass outside. If something gets in the turf, it has to be picked out of the turf to clean it. And then the final point for the turnstile door is that all three fins should be in contact with the door frame while the dome is not in use. That makes the dome just a little bit more energy efficient because less air leaks out. Also on the desk at the dome, you'll find a call list for all different kind of numbers you might be looking for. The reception for the front desk of the rec, cashier, window, member services, different program and facility staff. And for university numbers, you just dial the last 5 digits of the number. For example, the front desk is 69222, so just pick up the receiver and press 69222. If it's an emergency, if somebody's life is in danger, or a crime is being committed, please call 911. So just pick up the receiver, and you don't have to dial 8 to get an outside line, you just press 911. If you do want to dial a local number that is not part of the university system, you do have to press 8 to get an outside line for a local call. And you can't make long distance calls from that phone. In the desk drawer, you'll see a training manual that's predominantly for the point of sale system, as well as some other manuals and informational publications, Rec Sports Guide, etc. Some office supplies in the next drawer, and then finally some day passes to give out if you sell an $8 day pass, and then this is a rubber stamp for validating checks. If you receive a check payment, on the back top portion of the check where the endorsement goes, that's where you use this rubber stamp and then place it in the cash register. This is my workstation or my desk at the dome. There is a sheet of paper stapled up here on the cork board, and these are barcodes and combinations for master locks that hold the lacrosse goals together. So if the lacrosse goals are locked together and someone needs to use them, then you need these combination to unlock them for them. This monitor is for surveillance. I recommend that you keep the monitor on during your shift. This computer is to manage the Talus software that manages the temperature and the pressure of the dome. It needs to be on at all times, otherwise the dome temperature and the pressure won't be managed by the software. The screen will be off, but the tower will be on. There are 2 microphones in the corner here. The black one is strictly for the fire system mic. That's the indoor PA system here in the dome. And then the gray one actually accesses the speakers that are outside on the Musco light poles, as well as inside on the wall of the dome building that project into the dome. So if you need to make an announcement in the dome, use the gray mic. These controls on the wall show which area the mic is active in, or what speakers are turned on. So field A are the indoor speakers, the ones that are mounted to the side of the building, and field B are the speakers that are on the light poles outside. And then finally there's a volume knob. Finally, in the corner of the office, there is a first aid kit as well as a small toolbox. If there is an emergency or you have to provide first aid for some of our patrons, please fill out an accident report, or if there is something not injury related, fill out an incident report and then provide the best first aid that you can. Again, if it's a life-threatening emergency, call 911. Behind the desk, we have a ball pump, so if people bring their own soccer balls and they need air, go ahead and turn it on with the red switch and pump it up. We've got soccer balls, frisbees, and footballs for rental. Be sure to check them out. As you can see, we're supposed to have 4 of everything, and we now only have 3 frisbees and soccer balls, so please keep track of that. These switches on the back wall, these back switches, are for the lights that are outside, so the ones on the very large Musco light poles. So just press the three blocks to turn them off, or press the 3 black boxes to turn them on. Again, those are the lights that are outdoors really high, the Musco lights. And then these are the lights the switches that control the lights inside the dome. There are north and south half light switches, and then there are north and south all switches. So if there's nobody in the dome while you're working, just turn on the north and south half lights. The switches will go up and then return to their middle position. And if you want all of the lights on, turn up the north and south all. And then at the end of the night, when you turn all the lights off, just turn down all the switches. And finally, the office light is on a motion switch as well as the lobby lights. So the lobby lights will not come on if there's enough light coming through the windows in the ceiling. The lobby lights won't come on. If there isn't enough light coming in through the ceiling, there's a photo sensor on our motion sensor, and so if there's someone in the lobby and there's not enough light in there, the lights will come on. And this is the window for transactions, so open up the window when you're ready to do your shift. There is cash in this office, so if you're not in the office, please close and lock the window. But from here you can accept U-cards and greet patrons and wish them a fun time. This door immediately to your left as you exit the office is a mechanical room. That's where our furnace is to heat the dome building, as well as the breaker boxes for all the light switches, the outdoor lights, the indoor lights, the networking for the internet, as well as the surveillance. That's all in there. The key for the door is MCH M1. That's on the key ring in the office, but you probably shouldn't need to go in there. Now we're back in the garage space of the dome. The light switches are touch sensitive, so to turn them on, you just press on. To the right in the garage space, we have a stock of some tables and chairs, and then also in the blue bin is lost and found. So every 30 days we cycle out of things that are in lost and found, so we take it to Goodwill or a thrift store. And so no lost and found should live in the office. It should come back to this bucket out here. In these double doors in the garage space, this is where the water meter is, as well as the controls for the outdoor irrigation system. Again, you probably don't need to know anything about that, but it's in there. Here is a harness for clearing snow off of the roof of the dome. We need to shovel around the perimeter of the dome so we don't get something like an ice dam that you see on houses in the wintertime that can cause damage to the dome. So we shovel around the perimeter of the dome, including by the roof of the building with that harness. You won't do that, the full-time staff will do that, but that's what that's for. We've got some chalking equipment, some intramural equipment for yardage lines, and a whole fleet of shovels. This is the stairwell to get up to the roof of the dome. I will get soccer balls that are kicked up there in the summertime down for you. Don't go up there. This is the airlock garage space. There is a uprights assemblable uprights for rugby against the wall and the ground here. They're pretty easy to set up, and there are instructions in the box with all the joints on how to set that together. Finally, there is grooming equipment back here for Bruce. That's kind of outdoor grooming, and then turf grooming, and he uses the Kawasaki Mule to do that. You guys should not be messing around with grooming the field or driving around the Kawasaki Mule. Finally, a note in this garage space: these garage doors are programmed so that they both can't be open at the same time. So only one garage door can open at one time. Otherwise, if they were both open, then a ton of air would get sucked out of the dome and might cause damage to the doors. So now we're in the dome, and I would just ask that you do your best to try to keep the dome as tidy as possible and keep the equipment kind of in its standard setup where it should go. This initial white net on the entrance is just kind of to protect people who are walking in the dome from getting hit by any soccer balls or lacrosse balls or something else. Along the wall to the left here, you'll see the heating and blower mechanisms. There are two main units as well as a third before the doors. That's the backup unit. The large soccer goals should be on these end lines in their standard setup. Two of the nicer, newer lacrosse goals should be stored in the far corner, locked together. We lock them together because the lacrosse goals have sharp corners on the bottoms of them, and they're pretty heavy. So if one person drags them around, they can cause damage to the turf and cut the turf. The smaller lacrosse goals, soccer goals, should go in the goalie box on the end lines of the soccer fields that run horizontal, so the half fields. So 4 smaller goals, 2 larger goals, and then there should be 2 lacrosse goals in the far corner, this far southwest corner as well. Remember, I said the building is north as you're oriented in the dome. Those also should be locked together. And any open recreation participants should use the lacrosse goals that are locked together in the northeast corner. Those belong to facilities. The other ones belong to the lacrosse club. So every shift, take a lap around the perimeter and pick up any trash or lost and found that you might see, and take note of any damage that might have happened around the facility. If there's any emergency lights that have pulled away from the dome fabric or anything like that, let me know. Each set of lights in the ceiling connects to these gray ballasts on the ground. They connect through the dome fabric. And then the white battery is what powers the emergency lights. So the gray ballasts can warm up, so they shouldn't be touching the dome, but they should be kind of as far towards the dome fabric as they can be without touching. And then we have the emergency exit doors, and next to the emergency exit doors are fire alarms. And sometimes a soccer ball, when it hits directly on the fire alarm, it can cause the cover to become and the alarm will go off. The alarm is local, so don't be concerned. The fire department hasn't been notified. But in order to shut it off, just reseat the lid onto the fire alarm fire pole and kind of hit it back on so it reseats in place.